Here's a question for you. Are you willing to listen, adapt, and grow according to what people are teaching you?
In this video, we'll uncover why being coachable is a critical skill for your career change and how it can make all the difference in your tech journey.
Students who come to us who have some IT background versus student with no IT background, it takes different things to coach them. It takes different skills, strategies to coach them, because the person with an IT background who comes through the process, they come in knowing a lot already, and they are very resistant is the word.
Yeah.
To coaching.
In general, I think we have to take a step back, because being coachable is something like super personal. It's about listening to what people think about you, about yourself, or about something you do. And we all know we're resistant to that, or most of us are resistant to that in some spaces. So accepting that feedback is not always something that's natural to us.
Yeah. And also, when you come in and you know you don't know anything about the industry, it's easier to be coached, because you know you are a blank canvas,
Yeah.
and you are here to just absorb everything. But when I see people with a little bit of IT background, they tend to push back a little bit more, which is normal, but we try to encourage the shift.
That growth mindset.
That shift in general, which is super important, because as you come into Yellowtail Tech or any other program, you're going to need to be able to adapt.
Yep.
Because the marketplace is changing, is ever changing. Things are being updated. So you can come in, the syllabus look one way, and 1 year later, a few things might get tweaked. So you have to be able to listen to your coach and hear, okay, this is what has changed. This is what we're going to adjust a little bit. And this is what's going to happen. And the idea is for you to be willing to take that feedback. You see what I mean?
Yeah. One of the things that I've seen that works a lot for our students, that helps them actually get in that open mindset, is to learn in public. And that's a popular concept that we even try to apply to running this business, like doing in public. The more we do in public, the more we're showing that we're evolving, we're learning, we're not good at everything we do.
Yeah, but we have to admit, this is a new concept. It's a concept that not everybody's comfortable with. Even I struggle with that, because the idea of learning in public really is just, as you are learning, as you're getting into the IT journey, you are willing to document this journey online, on LinkedIn, on many platforms, social media. And what it does is, first, it puts a bit of pressure on you to actually do the work. Second, it actually helps document to recruiters, to anywhere, to anybody who could be watching you from anywhere, recruiting managers, and understand and see your growth. Yeah. And this is very much a place where you could be coachable.
Yes.
Because it's not natural to do that.
But I like to say it in a more raw way, like learning in public lights up a fire under your ass. Right? Like,
yes, it does.
It's like telling your network that you're gonna run a race.
Yeah.
Just because you told them you were gonna do it, that brings that external accountability in. And that's exactly what being open to being coachable is. Like, you have accountability, you have people that are watching and that are gonna tell you, hey, you said you were gonna run that race, but I haven't seen you run any miles this week. I followed you on Strava, whatever, or I followed you on LinkedIn, and I don't see that you're posting about what you're learning at Yellowtail Tech. So it opens whatever you're doing to that scrutiny.
Yes, and not only it opens you to that scrutiny, and there are so much resources and support around that, not only in at Yellowtail Tech, but online about how to present yourself, how to put yourself out there while you're learning. So that's one way to be coachable, but that's not the only way, because we also have a mentorship program at Yellowtail Tech. So basically, the idea is once you are in the job search process, we put you with people who just got a job to mentor you, to support you throughout the process, to basically show you, hey, this is what worked for me.
Yeah.
This is what has changed.
And it's
in the
super
marketplace.
important because we are part of a marketplace that's constantly changing. What they were looking for today is not necessarily what they're going to look for in a month. So being able to network with these other people that just did what you're about to do is super valuable.
Yeah, so knowing that you are in a agile, quick changing marketplace is very important. That's why the mentorship program is super important in general. So all that is about being coachable, showing up and being able to not only get the feedback but do something about it.
Yes,
Applying it, because if you show up to a coaching session or mentoring session, however you want to call it, and the person looks at your resume and say, hey, let's tweak it this way, let's have you go look into this tool because that's what's hot out there, and you just agree to it and you don't do it, it doesn't matter, you know.
Or one thing we suggest our students from the get-go is to start recording themselves speaking about themselves. Like, what's your elevator pitch on how you change careers? You could give this pitch to your mama, like literally anybody, and they will have things to say. And I encourage you to bring in random people to hear these things so that they can tell you, like, hey, do you sound like a robot? Are you just telling me the tech stuff, but you're not telling me who you are? Like, normally you have to show that you are a person that other people will want to work with.
Yeah, definitely.
So that this needs to come through in whatever you do. If that is a LinkedIn post, if that's your resume, is that your elevator pitch, or how you describe yourself in that first interview question.
Yeah, and we have some examples. Recently, we have a student called Stefan, and he took that learn in public so seriously. Before finishing the program, he had not only job offers, he's like a mini influencer on LinkedIn now.
Yep.
Because he took the coaching, he ran with it, and it worked. But he didn't do it halfway. You see what I mean? So when you are in a place where you get the coaching, you have to not only take it, thank the person, make it clear that, yes, I got you. You know, this is what I'm going to do, and do it. And you'll see the results of it, you know? So that's what I see in general.
Yeah, the thankfulness part is important because you are taking people's time. You're getting them involved in your career change, and that is something valuable. I'd like to share something. So the first time I was looking for a job, I was like a robot. So I wanted to tell you what I knew, how many certs I had, how many months I had been studying, and that's it. I couldn't tell you anything else about Paloma. And I remember I heard probably in a meetup about how people want to know who you are so that they can decide if they're going to want to work with you on a Friday evening when we're on call. Right? So it's like I heard that, but I didn't know what to do with it. And then I went to another interview and I finally challenged myself. How can you put more of who you are? And I remember at that point I was training for like a first triathlon. And I said I would sometimes bike to work so that I could get those miles in. Curiously, when in that interview, I found another triathlete interviewing me. And that was a thing that we connected on. And guess what? It absorbed a good 10 minutes of that interview. So it was 10 minutes that I wasn't grilled because I got something to connect with my interviewer.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have known that if I wouldn't have been open to applying that feedback.
And it probably is what tipped the scale too.
It did.
So I do agree. Bringing in your personality in the interview process is something we coach people on, we coach our students on, which is very important. Generally, what we want to make sure you understand is that being coachable is not about not knowing enough, it's about being open to always learning, because there's so much to learn. The marketplace is changing, so you have to adapt, you have to stay agile. So that's it.